and I wanted to give back to communities and have a broader impact. So I started a nonprofit organization called the Sustainable Energy and Agriculture Association of Alberta. And SIA, as it came to be known, got our charitable status 2 years later. And so I sit as executive director of the organization, and we have built out an entire platform that is diverse and adaptable in six main streams. Now, I've got some presentation media. I can dig that up. I think it would be better to send that out for review afterwards, so we can send that for either in a WhatsApp chat or group email. But the six pillars that we cover are sustainable energy and agriculture are in the name. Sustainable building practices, how to build and develop better buildings, better insulation, better heat recovery, and so on. Um, Sustainable business practices. How do you build and sustain a business? What do you need from the forefront for new business owners or existing business owners to make their operations more sustainable? Sustainable employment practices, how to find and keep a job. So we're talking upskilling, retraining, skills development, mentorship programs. And then, of course, sustainable communities is the broader scope pillar at the end that covers our intergenerational sustainability, our Indigenous brothers and sisters sustainability, and general community autonomy. So that's what SIA was developed to do. And in that time, we've received some granting here and there. We've set up some donation programs here and there. But it's really been growing to a point where now we're starting to reach out to an international audience through our learning management system, or our LMS. And we want to get that online and operational as soon as possible, because I've got well over 400 or 500 courses that we can launch as soon as it's online, and we can start reaching a very, very broad audience to have this discussion about what sustainability means, what regeneration means, what it means to grow and develop a community and a broader audience, so that we're looking at a way of not just growing and consuming. We're looking to grow and sustain. We're looking to grow and be in harmony with the world around us. So that's what the organization was built and developed to do. Like I said, we've received some granting and funding in the past. It is set up as to receive donations from anywhere around the world, and as donations are received, those can be put towards whatever programs, campaigns, deliverables that the organization is putting forward. And those programs, campaigns, or deliverables can also be anywhere in the world, despite the name of being the Sustainable Energy and Agriculture Association of Alberta. Having an international impact on sustainability from one of the most conservative provinces in Canada in itself is a disruptive mentality and something that I wholeheartedly support. So, without going into the details of the programs we offer and those sort of things, I want to take a moment to open the floor for questions, maybe steer the discussion in a way that's most beneficial to everybody attending, and make sure that we're addressing those questions and concerns. So please, I'd like to open the
I'd
floor.
love to. I have a question.
Go ahead.
So I would love to know how we can because like a lot of our team whether it's RC Global and or RQ Global, sorry, Meijing, or others are gonna want to bring in their own tools of education and teaching. How can we bridge that to uh how can we bridge SIA to all of these different uh, nonprofits or charities that also are adding education so that it highlights their wisdom as well and what they're doing so that we can actually bridge the events. Because, for example, Meijing and Brooke are really integrating events even more so now around the world. So they're going to be doing some stuff in Mexico, and then we have some partners, obviously, as you know, in Netherlands that are also doing events for financially fit kids. Then we have some in Australia and in Dubai. So I'd love to know with the teams that we kind of have around the world, how could we bridge that really profoundly? And then I have some technical questions from Luan, who wants to who wants to know how to serve and support this so that we can really bridge this profoundly. So, and then maybe also, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything to add, please do.
Maybe I'll start by addressing those because that's two questions right
Yeah.
there that I can answer pretty
Sorry.
quickly.
Yeah.
So the way that the Canada Revenue Agency sets up the definition of a charity is that there are about a handful of ways that a charity can work with other non-charitable organizations in order to be a fundraising partner and help and deliver those programs. So, so long as an organization meets at least one of our charitable objectives, which were written to be rather broad because we want to have a very broad impact on reducing poverty and advancing education, which are two of the four main charitable objectives of the CRA. Effectively, if we have an organization that can meet one of those charitable objectives, we can set them up as what's called an agent. And what that means is there's an agreement in place where for a set deliverable, so whether it be a program, a delivery, and it can be wherever in the world, really, that program is set up as an agent agreement under SIA. That means that SIA can then advertise that program. SIA can collect funds for that program. SIA can issue tax receipts for donations for that program, and any funds raised go to that program. So that's how the charitable structure can work with organizations outside of its own, and turning 4 years into a day, not quite a decade, but 4 years into a day. And the idea being that we can not have to reinvent the process of developing a charity for every cause. That's why I built SIA the way that I did, is to allow it to be diversified, allow it to be adaptable. So as these programs come to the table, virtually anything can be shoehorned into one of those six pillars. And as long as we're talking about sustainability and we're talking about regeneration, we're talking about community growth, we set up an agent agreement with set deliverables and a project. And now all of a sudden we can tap into SIA's resources of not only receiving donations in Canada, but we can receive security donations too. I don't know if I told you that, Eric, but we can take securities as donations through CanadaHelps.org. We're already set
Mm.
up for that process. And as we take in those donations, they can be directed into those organizations, not only as funding the programs, but SIA can actually hold shares in a for-profit company. So SIA can invest in corporations as long as it meets their charitable objectives. So there's some rules and some clauses and stuff around that. But the idea is it's designed to do that. So the other piece I forgot to mention is that we are also set up for unlimited Google Ads. So we did receive a grant from Google where as these programs are launched, we can be launching international Google ad campaigns with a virtually unlimited budget to make sure that we're drawing eyes, ears, and attention to these programs wherever they are, be it virtual, be it in person, whatever the case. So that's the mechanics of how SIA can help and work with organizations. Whether charitable or not, it really doesn't matter. And whether it's for profit or not, it really doesn't matter. As long as we set up that agent agreement so that the funds can be directed towards that organization. That's the real only requirement.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
And so you had
Nate,
some technical questions, and then we'll open it up to the floor again.
maybe the floor first. And actually, because yeah, actually, Beijing, Brooke, do you guys have any specifics questions that you have for Jason or Shaw?
I saw your website and it's a lot of like agriculture. So it doesn't matter what education it is, as long as, like you said, it's broad and it's cultural. Is there anything specific that you guys really focus on? You find the easiest, like you find the funds easiest for, what is it that's your niche? Because I know it's very broad, but at the same time, what is it that you see a lot of demand for and is easiest to raise funds for? Just curious.
Sure. That's a great question. And to speak about the website, I needed to put something up that had enough information that it was a lot of the frequently asked questions, if you will, that I had to get up there. I am working on a website redesign at the moment, and potentially another one depending on my conversation with Eric that happened last night. We'll see what happens with that. But to address your question, so I'm a master electrician. I've spent 10 years in electrical, focusing on solar, renewables, battery storage, electric vehicle charging stations, that kind of stuff. So I've built and developed 5-day certification training courses for solar. I've delivered them all across Western Canada. That's sort of the quick and easy implementation of training that's available. I do work with a couple of instructional designers that are willing to build out courses for whatever's needed. And for a while, Canada had what was called the Canada Alberta Job Grant Program, which was funding training programs just like this. But the entire federal government has decided to put those on pause until March. So that was usually the best source of funding for any training program that had 21 hours of instructional content. But until that point, the idea that SIA can act as a charitable fundraising source to raise said funds, it effectively makes us that funding body. And so part of SIA's mission is to reach out to folks that want to fund and pursue these kinds of programs and develop and deploy them. So instead of seeking outside grant support, we can be looking for folks that are already planning either tax offsets or corporate social responsibility plans. Those are the groups that we can be reaching out to for a much quicker and more reliable impact than a federal or provincial grant program. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question?
Yeah, give me more questions.
Okay, good. I'm glad. That's the start of a discussion. So
Yes.
I want to make I'm going to make sure that all of my information is shared. So if anybody wants to reach out by email or have a one-on-one discussion or ask more questions, I'm more than happy to do that. SIA is a passion of mine. SIA is something that I very firmly and strongly believe in. And to find folks that are interested in engaging and supporting and doing whatever we can to spread this message of sustainability and regeneration, I'm more than happy to have these conversations.
And this is the premise of the principles that guide us, right? So this is what fundamentally those six pillars that we talk about are already what we're doing. And the beautiful thing about this, all the way from ending poverty to creating, you know, more regenerative lifestyle for future generations, is fundamentally what everybody is wanting to achieve. And so the beautiful thing about this is that we have a plan in place. We have a charitable donation or charitable organization in place. We literally took, you know, like Jason said, 4 years and turned it into one day. And now we can partner with, you know, Yume Jing in terms of the events, with Ronald, with Financially Fit, who's here now, kids in the Netherlands. And then we have a plethora of like the veterans down in the United States who want to also then expand and grow. And then this is all the fundamental responsibility of bringing that regenerative or sustainable approach to life. And this is why this is so important, because instead of rebuilding something or creating and wasting time, we have already turned those decades into days by funneling energy into one space, and then from that one space being able to distribute where we need to go, from having all of these different partners on a global scale. And so this is really the operational excellence that Mr. Jason Courtepat is able to bring to life, because he is a COO already. And we actually just got off a meeting with our other COO from Balance Data Solutions, Hugo, who's also meeting Ronald with Bram, who are the major players in the Bitcoin economy principles. They are guys that talk about the fiduciary responsibility of Bitcoin standard. And Ronald is actually going to be meeting them. And so it really all comes together very beautifully in a sound mechanism that is for benefit for the future generations, for us as a whole. And so this is something that I really want to emphasize, the importance of planning, of operational excellence, of certainty, and of moving towards a direction that is in progress, because we're all benefiting because we have these policies and procedures in place to integrate alongside people that are so powerful and so profound in what they've done, with people that just do it better. That's it, you know, and that's what makes us super fast.
So Shaw, Brooke, what do you are there questions from either of you?
Well, I think I didn't get a chance to look through your website in advance. Most of my questions are like detailed process questions though, like
Bring it
so
on.
Perfect.
Again, I'm all about operations and operational excellence. So if we, maybe we can spare a few minutes for that, and then if we want to go into more detail, we can take that offline if need be.
yeah, and that's where I thought maybe your presentation would have examples and of, you know, how to work together, how we can co-create together. Because I mean I love everything you stand for sure. And we definitely like I did glance over at the page and there's multiple of the categories that are very strong with our vision. So yeah, I don't know if I have a very specific question though.
And that's fine. And so what I'll do is, Eric, maybe you can share contact information after this. And what I'd like to do, and I think everybody may be on the invite, but if not, I'd like to send out a package with some more information on SIA. Plus, I'm going to include a document that was put together by the United Way of Calgary. And what it is it's a document outlining how charities and non-charitable organizations work together. So it's a 60 or 70-page document, and it outlines all the different corporate structures and relationship agreements and the way that these processes can work. I'm only talking about one of those arrangements with these agent agreements. And that's outlined very clearly in that document how that process works. As a matter of fact, there's a template on the back that I templated our system off of. But there are other ways that charities and non-charitable organizations can work together. So maybe going through that document there, that'll prompt some additional ideas. We can have some additional discussions. I just stick with the agent agreements. It's the simplest to implement and is based on a project by project scope. So it keeps things nice and clean, right?
And remember, one of the key things and distinctions here, everyone, is that by integrating and working together towards a common good, we then create resource sharing. So what happens here is by implementing a clear plan of moving forward as a team, then there's a more operational excellence that gets duplicated down as we continue to grow. So remember, pride and ego will compete, spirit and purpose will collaborate. So this is super important to pay attention to really recognize that the plan that is being cultivated and created has to be done with ease and grace. If it's difficult and we start getting in our heads and thinking that we have to figure out all by ourselves, that's where ego comes in. If it's coming with ease and grace, if it's coming with simplicity and people that are here to support us and make it easy, this is how we make it fast. This is the certainty of our creator coming through to make things happen, right? Without needing to compete, because that's a whole bullshit paradigm. I just want to emphasize the importance of that. Anyone else? Okay, so I have a question. Yesterday we were talking about some technicalities, brother, and with regards to the magic. So I think I forwarded this to you on WhatsApp anyways, but a couple things for mentors. For the user management, what level of access do mentors have over their mentees' profiles? For tracking project progress, what metrics or progress indicators are important? Should there be logs of interactions? For content delivery, how will educational materials be distributed? And for a feedback mechanism, should mentors provide feedback or reports on mentees? Now, I know that this is something that's super detail oriented. However, because it comes from Luan, who's super detail oriented and wants to really help in terms of integrating the process. I had a meeting with Luan yesterday and he was like, bro, can you ask me these questions? Because I want to know how deep when he goes. And he's happy to really be in service alongside this. And then the second thing was for mentees, goal setting. Will mentees have the ability to set and track personal goals? For the learning resources, how will they access materials and track their learning progress? Communication, what types of communication will be supported? Chat, video calls. For feedback and surveys, will mentees provide feedback? Now, I sent you all of this. I don't expect a full, explanation of all this.
Yeah.
But if you can give us a high level expression so that when Luan watches this back, he can kind of get a little bit of an understanding of the way that, we can all move together.
Absolutely. So I see 12 very detailed questions here, and they're all excellent, and they're all the questions I would be asking as well from any LMS provider. And so what we did is in our process, we actually interviewed the top 5 LMS providers across North America, actually across the world, because LMS is not regionally based. And we came across a group called Absorb LMS. They are actually based out of Calgary and they have offices in Dublin as well. So they have 24/7 support. And all of these questions are addressed in that platform. And the reason we chose to go with them is because they had an extremely generous charitable discount on their services. And all of this is taken care of by a world-class LMS platform that we would have complete and total access to. Now, not only are all of these questions answered and available in that software, which again, that's a deep technical dive that we can go into, and I'm happy to share any of those details. One of the benefits of this platform is that we can develop and deploy private white label dashboards. So by utilizing SIA's core I think it's about 450 or 500 pre-built courses that are in the areas of leadership skills, conflict resolution, Microsoft Office skills, really basic kind of core concepts. We can develop private dashboards for organizations, for groups, for countries, as we build out and they have access to those core training programs, but then they can develop their own as well using a very intuitive interface for developing online training programs. As long as programs are SCORM compliant, they can also be imported into this platform, and we can track and utilize those training programs and even use them in different branches or other private dashboards while attributing any learners that go through the course right back to the original creator. So now we're talking about course licensing fees. We're talking about additional development and growth from each of these programs. So a lot of that's already been taken care of. As soon as you sent me these questions, Eric, I was reading through it and yep. So I'd love to sit down with one and go through the process and go through the details, but this is something I've been looking into for about the last 3 years. I got really serious into the research last year. I was interviewing companies around the world, making sure they checked all our boxes, because I'm not going to put something out that's half complete. I'm not going to put something out that doesn't have the level of quality I want to see in a training program. And so that's why we went with this. So short answer, yes, it has everything
Cool.
that's being asked.
I just want to emphasize too, Ronald and Meijing and Brooke and Shaw, that the magic of what's also behind this great man, Jason, is also we have a lot of like advisors and support that are guiding, that have been working inside of major organizations that have been developing operational excellence. And so not only has he been doing it himself, but there's people that are guiding and helping us behind the scenes that are helping us clarify and magnify the intelligence of the way that we're serving. So I just want to, it was amazing because like I was looking for I got the feedback in the group. Okay, we need to do this, and I just reached out to Jason. Hey, can we do this? Is this ready? And he just like posted it, and it was like all of the answers were all the questions was answered immediately without needing to do anything. And so this is the magic of collaborative effort. So anyone else have any questions? Because I know you have to leave right away, brother. So I just want to emphasize and acknowledge the time. Nothing?
Okay, well, like I said, I'm available for any questions. I'm available for one-on-ones. I'd like to send out that little package with the working
Yes.
with charities package so we can review all that. I've got some brochures and stuff for SIA. While I've been doing solar and electrical consulting services and working with Flexible Energy and working with Flexible Balance and doing all these things, I've got a couple program directors that have been working on SIA, keeping it kind of running and humming along in the background, and being ready for the explosive growth that we're going to be seeing here right away. And one of the things, you know, that we want to be building out is better messaging. We want to be building out better structure. We want to be building out, Eric, we were having this discussion just earlier today about building out the foundation and the structure needed for an organization to grow. That's a need of SIA as well too. So by working with these groups and by deploying these kinds of platforms and training programs all around the world, that will allow SIA to grow and become stronger and provide more resources to any and all of its affiliates, agents, partners, organizations that it's working with. That's what I want SIA to become. That's what I built SIA to grow into. And so it is completely autonomous within our control and is willing to serve however needed is the basic premise behind SIA. So if anybody has any questions coming out of this, an idle thought hits you through the day, feel free to reach out, ask. WhatsApp is a great way to get a hold of me, and Eric can share contact info, and I'll make sure that package gets sent out right away.
And one last question before you go, brother, and thank you for your time, was now when we bring in other partners, different organizations or charities, international, US based, wherever, they are becoming team members. It's not like there's no hierarchy. It's a team member experience, right? Just so that
Correct.
we're clear here.
100%. The only reason the agent agreement exists is only because CRA needs a paper trail of where the money donations receive and where they're going to for a program. That's the only purpose behind those. Besides that, they can be bi-directional if the other organization, especially if it's a charitable organization, will sign an agent agreement with them. That really doesn't matter. It's just a matter of record keeping, bookkeeping, and that's really the only purpose behind it. But that document, the charitable and non-charitable relationship document, will outline all sorts of other arrangements that can be done. And it's really going to depend on what those, what we want to accomplish. That's really it.
So that means based off of principles, and that means based off of goals and outcomes, we're getting to make the decision as a team.
Correct. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Love it. That's all I wanted to clarify.
All right. Thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure briefly meeting you. I'm hoping to spend some more time with each of you to get to know you. And I got to run, but we'll talk soon. Thank you all very much.
Bye, Jason.
We love you, brother.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Ciao. Ronald, do you want to share a little bit about your magic and who you are? Because the youth here that is deeply connected to themselves would love to know the brilliant you are.
Oh my. How can I
I'll
top
be right
that?
back.
Yes, take it back. Well, I'm Ronald Zulema. I'm talking to you from the Netherlands. My highest mission in life is to heal the world, and make it a better place. My current mission is to do that through end financial literacy among children. I'm targeting 12-year-olds. This year, I want to reach all the children in the Netherlands. That's approximately 180,000 kids. And next year, I want to go global, probably US and Australia, Africa, North America, South America, the whole world. Why? Because the children are our future. And I listened to you. I put my video off because I was driving and didn't want you to get distracted by my video. But I was listening to what Jason was saying, and I was very, very. He made me very curious because I was late. I didn't at the beginning, but that my thoughts were the same as his thoughts. So yes, we're here to help each other. And what Eric so beautifully said, bring decades into days. So you don't need to learn the lessons we already have learned. And you can build on our shoulders and make even bigger dreams possible. That's what I want to do.
Beautiful.
And I'm very sorry that I also have to leave you now because I have to feed my family. That's a very primal need, so I need to do that now. And I'm very glad I got to know you in this short time, and we'll talk later, and we meet, and we'll get involved. No problem. I love you. Thank you from the Netherlands,
Bye,
and let's
Ronald.
see you. We talk
Love you.
later.
Love you.
Will do.
Love you, brother.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for being here, bro. I love you. Ciao.
I love you too.
Yes. Tata, ja jestem na call, co mogę ci pomóc?
Patrzcie, nie wyzwolił z
Dobrze. My parents are talking to me from upstairs. Eric. So this is really beautiful that you know, everybody's coming together in a really meaningful way. I think that it allows us to amplify faster than we even thought possible, which is beautiful. And on a global scale, you know, it's interesting how the world starts to show us all the tools. We don't need to rebuild anything. Do you guys have anything that you want to add? I have yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts, feelings from what you've heard.
I feel very supported. I love it. I really want to connect further with Jonathan. He seems like
Jason.
he's on a great
Jason.
mission. Oh, Jason, sorry. Yeah, I really would love to connect further with Jason. He just seems like a very grounded human that his vibration is on our same frequency. And it seems like what he's doing is a perfect synergy for what we need. And I love that he's doing that LMS because it's something that we definitely want to integrate into what we're doing, especially like what we just recorded on the last summit. So putting it on the LMS so we can at least have something on there and start promoting the future summits, which will be the Mexico one, and see how we can work together to integrate his teachings into the Global Villagers program as well, which is something that would be really fundamental. We were just breaking up teams, so it would be really beautiful to help them get trained through those.
Yeah, well, if you look on the website too, he talks about creating a self-sustained city, right? So it's really exactly what the dynamics of the global villages is just different language, right? But it's the same meaning. And that's fundamental, right? And so, by the way, we just went out for dinner, or sorry, lunch a couple days ago, myself, Jason, and one of our key elders, who is also going to be one of our indigenous advisors, where he does a lot of work with the UN on a global scale. So here he's very well known, and he will be our key support from developing a consensus model and helping integrate meaningful change for with also our elders on a international scale. So we're really excited because, you know, and Jason is also Métis, so he is indigenous himself. So the Métis people elders were the ones that got me out of drugs. They saved my soul. So I spent 8 weeks with the elders up here in Bonnyville, where they healed, you know, my beingness into existence so I could really step up. So it's interesting how it all comes back full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Indigenous is everything. It's our foundation. Were you able to speak or ask him about if he knew anybody in Mexico or in Central America or Latam by any chance?
So I reached out to Mauricio. He hasn't responded to me, so I'm not going to force anything. But we have a lot of Latin American connections through the charity work, so we can figure that out as we go, especially now that we have a model. Because I think the biggest thing that we didn't have before was a process, a plan, and a model. And so now we have that with Jason. And so now we can actually, because we have a structure in place, we can actually now expand fast. And the fact is that, you know, he's been evolving this for 4 years. So instead of us needing to come up with a new strategy, he's already built one, and we can refine it as we go by bringing in this consensus modeling so that everybody is being heard, listened to, appreciated, and understood, so that it's benefiting the whole. And so that's the key thing is I believe is now really integrating, spending some time with Jason and yourself as well, because Ronald's going to have to spend like what's going to happen is every charity leader is going to spend more time with him so that we can really then integrate it into the spectrum, into the system, because he's so process oriented. And then by us creating that process and making it happen internally, then we'll be able to duplicate that process within each charity as well after, right? So what it becomes, it's a very clear system because we're able to navigate and move it forward.
Just to clarify two things. One, so it sounds like it'll be a training, like an upcoming training sort of to really immerse into what he's created. So that we can then share it. And
I wouldn't
expand.
even say it's a training. I would say it's just an awareness, because you don't need to be trained on something that you already know. Like this is all of our visions already. It's not a training. I would say it's just the information, because it sounds like to me that most people, they don't have a clear process. And because he's developed a clear process and cultivated the details, we're plugging in the details of what every person's needs are, so that as a result, we're serving the greater whole. But we can't do that without implementing the the needs of benefiting the greater, like, so what I mean by this is like by you or like ArtQ Global really focusing on its benefit or the way that it wants to do, or Global Villages benefiting what it needs to do, we're able to plug in to a process that's already defined and able to then scale. Because if we're just building it, and we're not certain of where we're going, then we're not really scaling anything. But if we're already created a process and a plan, we can then scale, we can focus on the next solution. We don't have to think of the things that are holding us back, because we're thinking of the how, but the how is right there. You see, it's never about the how, it's about the who. And the how is already here. It's already created. And by the way, you can see in Jason's expression that he loves it. So by him being process oriented, it allows us to grow. It allows us to focus, so that he's navigating that component of it. He's bringing in others like that also want to help on the how. And then as a result, it allows us to focus on the who. Make sense?
Definitely. And I think Meijing may have been asking if you had a chance to speak with your Indigenous representative to see if he had any connections that we could meet up with when we're in Mexico upcoming, in case we want to include them.
Yes. So you tell me where again in Mexico City, right?
Either Mexico City or the Yucatan Peninsula, so either Aztec descent or Mayan descent. Because we're going to be exploring both of those areas, seeing what resonates best with us.
So I have some friends I'll reach out to personally as well, because I have some connections, especially in Tulum, in Mexico City. Who is there? Yeah, I'll figure it out. I also think we need to. I would invite you to also ask Farah, because she has some. She has some friends down in Mexico City, so it would be really great to ask her specifically. Send her an email. Shaw, you're so quiet.
I don't have much to say today. I just
Cool.
decided to a lot more. I think I really want to. I would like to learn more about SIA and what the projects are, but I need to know more before I ask any questions. So, yeah, that's where I got with that.
Cool. So I would invite you to reach out to Mr. Jason. He's gonna email probably everybody that's on the invite anyways. But if you have any specific questions, then definitely Jason will be a great resource to utilize. He's really been focusing a lot on how we're building flexible energy or flexible balance, the energy side, and bringing in that same operational magic to integrate it with us. So, I have would love to know more about. We need to jump on a call as well separately, I think, to really hear how the week has progressed. I can't do it after this call. I know I promised I would. I apologize, but I have Dave Dodson being interviewing him, and I would like to invite Meijing and Brooke, if you can meet tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I could send an invite and we can meet tomorrow morning. Is that okay? Because I know you ladies have some things that you want to go over specifically regarding the vision and the distinction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is just the three, like just with you, or are you inviting someone else?
Well, I don't know if we need to, but at first I think it should be just focused on what your needs are. Because what I know is based off of our last conversation, you ladies wanted to know or to go a little bit deeper in terms of making sure some of the global villages or the events. And I know we have, 14 minutes, which I definitely need to jump off today a little bit early. And I can't jump on after this. So I just wanted to set up a time where we can continue this conversation before I get off the call, before we get off the call.
Yeah.
Is it possible to do Sunday evening?
No, because it's my nephew's birthday. Unless you can do today at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. I have a block today at 3 o'clock.
Tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning's okay. What time?
Tomorrow 8 a.m. at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. So that's right now here it's 9:47.
Okay, so 9 a.m. time. Okay. That's 7 a.m. for Brooke.
That's okay.
Are you sure?
I was like, wait, are we meeting with a professional? Do I need to get up and like look?
No,
you
no,
know?
no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's
No,
great.
it's just getting clear. And if you ladies want to send me anything that, your needs, maybe I can get somebody that is able to be there at that meeting based off of what the needs are. But I want to get clear first so that I know since last week you guys were going to just share the vision. But I do believe that before Monday, if we can just get some stuff clear, then maybe I can attract even more resources faster. So
Yeah,
I just want to keep moving the momentum. That's all.
Sounds good.
let's do it.
Cool.
So, Eric,
So yes.
I have a question about the call that you were saying earlier this week. Is that at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, or what time is that?
Yes, that's at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Do you want me to send you an invite, brother?
Yes, please. I think I'm gonna pull over and try and join.
Try and join, or are you gonna join? What's the
Okay, I'm going I'm going to join because I've been planning it for a while in my head to make sure that I want to be there. So
Okay.
I will join at 3. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll send you the invite then.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Book Beijing, save, done. Okay, cool. So that's done. I'm sending you the invite, Mr. Shaw. Okay, so that's done too. So now, ladies, I sent you the invite for tomorrow morning. And yeah, I think I know I'm moving fast. My mind is just really focused on action, as you can see.
Moving swiftly, swiftly. I love the word swift. Much better
Yeah.
than fast.
Yeah,
like that.
so thank you. Yeah, I'm moving with intention, and I think people are starting to see that I'm not waiting on anybody. I'm just moving, and if they want to join the ship, jump on. If not, that's okay too. There's no problem. Yeah. So I appreciate you ladies for listening, because I think that this is where the speed happens, or sorry, the swiftness happens with making I really believe decades into days happens with, you know, the speed of people. And so this is what Tony emphasizes: give more than you ever expect to receive, and your life will be truly fulfilled. And it's by giving that we actually do receive. And look, it's like we're really giving, you know, to Jason by getting, you know, and then as a result, we're also receiving. And so it's like it's so symbiotic and so beautiful when we're stopped thinking about just ourselves. And I think that that's the great mission here that we're all learning.
Mm,
Yeah.
I agree. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m.
Yes, love you, ladies. Love you, Shaw. Big love. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye, Eric. Love you. Bye,
Bye.
guys.